Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Natasha, welcome to my channel, and today's video is another installment in my How Long Does It Take to Use Up Makeup series, where I talk about usually 3 makeup products that I've finished. I've tracked how long it took me to use them up, and from that I've kind of calculated some numbers like cost per use, cost per gram, stuff like that. I have, I think, 5 other videos like this in my series so far, so I will link that playlist down below. Throughout this series, I've looked at the cost per use and average cost of blushes, bronzers, highlighters, foundations, setting sprays. I'm hoping by the end of the year I will have featured at least one product from each category within this series, and maybe by the end of the year we can figure out the average cost per entire face of makeup. I know that's something that people have mentioned in the comments that they're curious about, and I am curious too. I think it'd be really cool to figure out how much money you're spending, even though you've already spent all the money, how much all the makeup is worth of a full face of makeup in one day. I think that would be really cool to find. So I am working on tracking some other products that I haven't discussed yet. Today we're going to be talking about a foundation, a bronzer, and a setting spray. I will have a little chart in the corner with all the numbers, so if you're more of a visual person, you will have something to look at as well. And like always, if you have done anything like this where you've kind of tracked how long it took you to use up something or even just hit pan on something, if you have any of that kind of information to share with us, please do so in the comments. I found a few things like this on the internet. I saw a blog post about it once, about I think a powdered foundation. I've seen a couple examples on Reddit, so I will try to leave all other information that's already out there on the internet in the description box for you to look at. But I really think the more people who contribute to this, the more people who do it, the better information we will get as consumers, because I might go through something a lot more quickly than you might, or a lot more slowly. I'm notorious for going through bronzers really quickly, but then there are some products that take me so much longer to use up than other makeup consumers out there. So I do have 2 videos. I will link those in the description box as well, or in the cards, I don't know. And one of them was about products that take me the most time to use up and products that I tend to go through very quickly. That might give you a better idea of my pace when it comes to using up makeup. It might give you a better idea of how long it would take for you to use up as well. Anyway, let's just get started. The first product I have to talk about is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. This is a new bottle. I accidentally threw away the old bottle before I got to show you. It was in my 2018 empties video. And the shade that I used up then was 1.1. This is 1.05. I like it. It still works for me, but it has a little bit more of an olive undertone. So if you're looking for olive undertone foundations for fair skin, Smashbox has got you covered. I love this foundation. It's one of my favorite foundations I've ever tried. It's got a light to medium buildable coverage, and it's very skin-like. It lasts a decent amount of time. It's not like the longest lasting. It's not like a 12-hour foundation, even though it does say 15-hour foundation. I don't really think that's the case unless you use a crap ton of powder, but I think this is really wonderful, and I use it on an everyday basis. I think it's beautiful. The way I use it is I put 2 pumps between my fingers, rub them together, and then rub it into my skin and kind of pat it on parts where I want a little bit more coverage, like on my cheeks. I don't use a beauty blender with it. I feel like it soaks up a lot of the product, maybe just because of the formula, so I definitely recommend using your fingers with this. This retails full price for $36, and it is 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters. That makes it $36 per ounce or $1.20 per gram, and I was able to get 236 pumps out of this bottle. The last 4 pumps, what I would consider to be 4 pumps worth of product, I ended up taking the cap off and using like a little squeegee type of thing to get out the last little bit for my last 2 uses, but I still count those as pumps. If you don't, then I guess your number of pumps would be 232. If you're just using 1 pump per use, then it brings you down to 15 cents per use. But if you're like me and you use 2 pumps for a full application, that brings it up to about 30.5 cents per use. Whether or not you think that's affordable is really up to you. That's a very relative term. I think for me that's a little bit expensive. However, I usually buy Smashbox when it's on sale. Smashbox usually has like 30% off sales a lot, or at Ulta I can use a 20% off coupon or even use my points to make it a little bit more affordable. I bought this bottle for 20% off, meaning I paid $28.80 for it, and my per use using 2 pumps is about 24 cents per use, which I think brings it down, I think almost 6 or 7 cents, which I think is a lot more affordable. It's a lot better in my head. But yeah, 24 cents to have really nice skin for the day, I think for me is worth it at this point. The next product I want to talk about is from Hourglass, and it is the Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Dim Light. This is actually the shade Diffuse Light. Once again, I accidentally threw the Dim Light packaging away, but I did finish the Diffuse Light powder recently, so I have the container still to kind of make it look like I have it with me. And this is technically a finishing powder, but the Dim Light shade was a little bit too dark for my skin, so I ended up using it as a bronzer, and I think it worked beautifully for that. I think it looked really natural. It had a really nice sheen to it. It wasn't too pigmented. It really looked natural and nice on my skin. I did like it. It's $46 though, so I don't know if I'd buy it again because I think as a bronzer, I use it up a lot more quickly than I would as a face powder. The Ambient Lighting Powders retail for $46. They're 0.35 ounces and they're 10 grams. That makes them $131.43 per ounce and $4.60 per gram. When I use it as a bronzer, which like I said, I think it goes a lot more quickly than if I just use it as a finishing powder. When I use it as a bronzer, I only got 71 uses out of it, so just over 2 months, almost 2.5 months worth of use. That brought it to a whopping 65 cents per use, which in my opinion is way too expensive for a bronzer. No matter how nicely it looked, for me that is just not worth it. However, I don't really ever pay full price for anything, so I am going to look at the sale price that I got. When I bought both of the Hourglass powders, I purchased them from Sephora's website, and I got them both for 20% off because it was during a Rouge sale, meaning that instead of paying the full $46, I only paid $36.80, and that brings my cost per use down from 65 cents per use down to about 52 cents per use. So that brings down the cost quite a bit, but still, that's still pretty expensive in my opinion for me to buy that again. This exercise has taught me that even though I did really like that product, I still don't think I'm getting enough value for how much I'm spending every time I use it. And so as a result, even though I like the product, it's probably not something that I would repurchase. And when I say like money you're spending every single time, I'm aware you already spent the money. It's a sunk cost. No matter whether or not you use it, you've still already spent that money. So please just keep that in mind. I'm just talking about like a hypothetical cost per use. The next product I want to talk about is from Milani. It's the Make It Last Setting Spray, and this retails for $9.99. It's 2.03 fluid ounces or 60 milliliters, and that makes it $4.92 per ounce or 16.5 cents per milliliter. I like this setting spray. I don't think it is as good a quality as the Urban Decay All Nighter or the Scandinavia Bridal Spray. I still really like those. Usually when they're on sale, I pick up those. I picked up this whenever I was in Charleston earlier this year. I ran out of my setting spray unexpectedly, and all I had nearby was a Target, so I ran and grabbed this. And I thought it was okay, but I feel like it leaves me a little bit dewier than the other setting sprays that I like. And I don't think it does as good a job of lasting power. I don't think it makes my makeup last longer. So I really loved the sprayer a lot. I might put other sprays in this and use the packaging again. However, the fragrance of the original product was very strong and I didn't like that either. So probably wouldn't buy it again even though it was nice enough to use up. I only got 48 uses out of this, which isn't surprising because I do use a lot of setting spray every time I use it. I make sure to really soak my entire face. And that means it cost me about 21 cents per use. I did discuss the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray in a previous How Long Does It Take to Use Up video, and in that one it cost me 57 cents per use, but I usually get them on a really good sale. I buy them in the 2-packs and I wait until they're 20% off. And so whenever we look at how much I actually paid, it really only cost me 23 cents per use. So I think that's a better product. I enjoy using it more. I think it does better at making my makeup last longer. It doesn't make me look dewier throughout the day, which is not what I want in a setting spray. And so even though it's 23 cents versus 21 cents for the Milani, I still feel like the Urban Decay one is a better value for me, and that is the one I will repurchase. But it is interesting to see that getting the Urban Decay full price would cost 57 cents and Milani full price would only cost 21. Like, that's a huge difference in price. So those are the 3 products I have to talk about. I am very excited. I already have 2 products to talk about for my next video, so I just need to use up one more product that I've been tracking, and I'll have another video like this coming out very soon. I hope to do a lot more videos like this year. They're one of my favorite to prepare for and one of my favorite to film. I think they're really interesting. I think they give a lot of good information that really isn't readily available out there. I also have a skincare edition of this video coming out soon. I finished 4 Kopari skincare products and I've been tracking how many uses it takes to finish them, so stay tuned for a skincare version of this video as well. I'm hoping to branch out into other categories such as skincare and maybe hair care and some other types of categories like that, so stay tuned. Let me know what you would like to see, but in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!